Did you know that Daenerys Targaryen, the formidable Queen of Dragons, was once insulted with Monty Python quotes? Now that's an intriguing icebreaker, isn't it? Let's take a step back to Season 4 of Game of Thrones. In the episode titled Breaker of Chains, Daenerys, the silver-haired queen, arrives at the gates of Meereen, a city known for its master's cruelty. As she contemplates her next move, a so-called champion of Meereen, selected by the city's masters, begins to hurl insults at her. Now here's where things get interesting. If you're a linguist with a knack for Low Valyrian, you'd realize that these aren't just any insults. They are in fact quotes from the comedy classic, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Yes, you heard that right. Some of the zingers include, "Your mother was a hamster, and I blow my nose at you." So next time you watch this episode, remember, the Mother of Dragons is being insulted by a hamster mother joke. Speaking of Low Valyrian, have you ever wondered who created this intricate language? It's not every day that a TV series invests in creating a fully realized fictional language, but then again, Game of Thrones is not your everyday TV show. Enter linguist David J. Peterson, the mastermind behind the Valyrian and Dothraki languages. Peterson was tasked with the monumental job of creating languages that would feel real, immersive, and authentic to the world of Game of Thrones. And boy, did he deliver. Peterson didn't just wake up one day and scribble down some words on a piece of paper. No, he meticulously crafted these languages over time, infusing them with their own grammar, vocabulary, and even dialects. Each word, each phrase, each sentence was carefully considered, ensuring the languages would sound natural and believable when spoken by the actors. Creating a language isn't just about making up words, it's about understanding how languages work, how they evolve, and how they shape the culture of the people who speak them. Peterson is a master at this, and it shows in the depth and complexity of the languages he created for Game of Thrones. But Peterson's work didn't stop at the Valyrian language. He also crafted the guttural, harsh sounds of Dothraki, the language of the nomadic horse riders of the Great Grass Sea. Just like with Valyrian, Peterson constructed Dothraki with its own unique set of grammar rules and vocabulary. What's even more impressive is that these languages aren't just gibberish, they're fully functional, meaning you could actually learn them if you wanted to. In fact, there are language learning resources available for both Valyrian and Dothraki. So if you've ever wanted to tell someone "I love you" in High Valyrian or threaten your enemies in Dothraki, now you can. So not only did Game of Thrones captivate us with its plot, but it also created whole new languages. Just another reason why this series has left an indelible mark on pop culture. We all know the Iron Throne, but do you know how it was truly supposed to look? The Iron Throne, the seat of kings in the Seven Kingdoms, is a symbol of power and conquest. But what if we told you that the iconic throne we've come to know from the series is actually a mere shadow of the towering structure originally envisioned by George R.R. Martin? In the world of Westeros, the Iron Throne was created by Aegon the Conqueror, the first king of the Seven Kingdoms. He had it constructed from the swords of his defeated enemies, 1,000 of them melted together by the fiery breath of his dragon, Balerion the Black Dread. Martin, the mastermind behind the series, had a grand vision for this symbol of power. He imagined it as a colossal, intimidating structure, a hulking mass of twisted iron that was as much a monstrous beast as it was a seat. A throne so massive that it dwarfed any who dared sit upon it, a constant reminder of the tremendous power and danger that comes with ruling the Seven Kingdoms. However, the throne depicted in the television series is a far cry from this vision. It's a beautiful piece, no doubt, but it lacks the sheer scale and raw intimidation factor that Martin had in mind. The author himself has expressed his disappointment with the show's version, stating that it simply doesn't do justice to the Iron Throne he envisioned in his books. The Iron Throne was meant to be a symbol of the brutal history of Westeros, a chilling reminder of the bloodshed and betrayal that comes with the pursuit of power. It was meant to be as uncomfortable to sit on as it was impressive to behold, a symbol that power is not a comfortable seat, but a perilous climb up a mountain of sharp edges. It seems the Iron Throne was meant to be a lot more intimidating than what we got to see on our screens. But perhaps, in its own way, the smaller, more refined version we see in the show serves as a subtle reminder that power, no matter how grandiose or intimidating, is ultimately a fragile and fleeting thing. Ever heard about the unaired Game of Thrones pilot? Well, buckle up. because the inception of this beloved series is a tale as twisted as the plots within it. Before the grand premiere in 2011, there was an original Game of Thrones pilot that was, unfortunately, never aired. This initial attempt was quite a departure from what we've come to know and love. Imagine a Westeros that's slightly askew, with different faces in familiar roles and storylines that veered off the path we're accustomed to. Firstly, several pivotal roles were recast after this initial run. Daenerys Targaryen, the Mother of Dragons, was initially portrayed by actress Tamsin Merchant, not Emilia Clarke. And Catelyn Stark, she was first brought to life by Jennifer Ely, not Michelle Fairley. Strange to think of these iconic characters in different hands, isn't it? The storylines too underwent some significant reshuffling. The original pilot leaned heavily on the backstories of our characters, providing more context to their actions. However, this approach was deemed too confusing for first-time viewers, leading to a more streamlined narrative in the final version. And then there was the feedback. Test audiences reportedly found the relationship between Cersei and Jaime Lannister unclear, not realizing they were siblings until that shocking final scene. This feedback led to a clearer exposition of their relationship in the reworked pilot. The creators, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, took these lessons to heart, leading to the reshooting of about 90% of the pilot. The result? The gripping first episode we all remember, setting the stage for an epic saga that would captivate audiences worldwide. It's fascinating, isn't it, how a series that teetered on the brink of obscurity transformed into a global phenomenon. Imagine how different Game of Thrones could have been if that original pilot had aired. But as we've learned from the series itself, sometimes the most unexpected twists lead to the most compelling stories.